I'm on BC Ferries on this beautiful day in the summertime, about to experience one of BC Ferries' vacations. I could have chosen one of 60 different places in all of BC to visit, but I've decided to go for the Sunshine Coast. Being the chef at Spinnaker's Brew Pub in Victoria is a busy job, so it is great to get away for a couple of days. I don't need a car because transportation and accommodation is all arranged. I just get to relax and enjoy the scenery. The Sunshine Coast is on the BC mainland, but it is cut off by the Coast Mountains and can only be reached by boat. A 40-minute ferry ride from Horseshoe Bay brings you to Gibson's, the picturesque main town. The road north follows the coast, passing many small communities and quiet beaches. It is easy to see why this area has been a favorite vacation spot for so many years. I'm staying at the beautiful Painted Boat Resort in Pender Harbor. This resort offers luxury accommodations and a wide range of activities, but strives to be environmentally friendly, as manager Ryan Schmidt explains.
We're going for zero waste, so our kitchen, all the resort units themselves, they have a complete recycling program, complete with an organic waste program.
I'm here to meet resort chef Spencer Watts, but Ryan has a rather tempting distraction.
When you entered the keyhole of Serenity, entering the spa yet?
I have yet to enter the keyhole of Serenity.
It's gorgeous. All treatments you can imagine, from manicure to pedicure to couples massage to hydrotherapy, but the jewel of it is the outdoor treatment gardens that you can enjoy before or after your treatment. It's magic.
This area has loads of fascinating food stories, but I'm sure they'll wait a little longer. I'll see you later. I'm exploring the southern Sunshine Coast, and where better to start than at a local market like this one at Roberts Creek. You never know what you're gonna find. Okay, I see your sign. I see it says the Flower Peddler. What are you doing?
Well, we're just milling some fresh whole grain flour. So that's 100% whole grain flour.
Wow.
The whole grains in.
May I?
Yes, you may. Whole grain flour out, nothing added, nothing taken away. Just that's how natural it should be.
How did this all start? Do you come from a farming background, or?
No, not at all. I actually grew up in urban Vancouver, and during the end of my anthropological degree that I was getting from Simon Fraser, I embarked on a field study looking at the history of grain production in the Fraser Valley, and I met all these grain farmers and small millers and bakers, and I started buying 50 pounds, 100 pounds from some of these people and taking it to the market and selling it and providing an outlet for these small grain farmers to actually get their grains to the market. What the machine demonstrates is the simplicity, whole grains in, whole grains out, the sifting, the bleaching, the fortifying, everything's just made it so complicated. It doesn't need to be so complicated. That's for thousands, tens of thousands of years. 100% whole grain flour is what we ate.
Yeah. And of course, I had to have a try at milling myself.
So just smooth and straight ahead.
I think I can do it. No fear of road rash?
No fear of road rash.
From grinding my daily bread, I'm moving on to the opposite end of the local food scene. These tiny fish are baby sturgeon, and they're being raised to produce one of the world's most expensive luxury foods, caviar. I'm visiting Canada's only sturgeon farm near Seychelles. So, Justin, this is a rather, shall we say, womb-like room. Where are we?
Yeah, we're in the incubation facility for the sturgeon.
Okay.
And this is where we start with eggs. When we spawn a fish, we'll bring the eggs here into an incubation jar, and just 6 days later, they'll hatch.
Once the fish have grown a bit, they get moved to the next stage.
Okay, Ali, these are the 1-year-old fish.
Wow.
Now it finally looks like a sturgeon at this stage.
It does, not a tadpole.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why don't we net one up and you can take a closer look.
How old do they typically get?
In the wild, they can get really, really old, over 100 years old. We harvest our fish, the males, for meat when they're about 3 to 4 years old.
And one's gone.
We'll grow the females out for caviar, and the first ones that we had to mature were 11 years old. last year. The ones this year are 12 years old.
Okay. Hold on to him a little bit tighter.
No, you don't have to hold on tight. It will wiggle.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about its structure. This is totally unlike any fish that I've held recently.
So along here we have these little bony plates. So on the outside we have these bony plates. We have these bony plates on the outside. Internally, sturgeon have no bone. It's solid
With the
meat
exoskeleton.
Exactly. And underneath, if we just turn it over, you can see these barbels underneath, and they use those to sense different food.
So that's the
in the water.
whiskers.
It's similar to a whisker.
Right. Wow. Just such a prehistoric fish.
It is. They evolved 200 million years ago, and they haven't changed much since.
Outside in these tanks are the mature fish, and they're big, around 3 meters long. They're still just as camera shy, though. Sturgeon farming is a very new idea. Around the world, sturgeon fisheries are collapsing, and there is increasing pressure on wild sturgeon, including the white sturgeon in the Fraser River. Farming is a way to reduce the pressure on the wild fish, and the end result is sustainable, ocean-wise caviar.
We started from these eggs that had just hatched, and 12 years later you can get something like this out of those fish.
Wild, absolutely.
Should we have a taste?
Yes, please.
Of course, you can't use a metal spoon because it can impart a metallic flavor to the eggs. So you can, what we do is we have these mother of pearl spoons that we use that are really good for it. Or you can also just use plastic if you'd like.
Right. I think mother of pearl might be a little bit more appropriate.
We'll go with the mother of pearl.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
when we take some, we'll take a scoop and just roll the beads on your tongue, and you'll get a salty flavor at first, and then burst them on the roof of your mouth. You'll get a nutty,
Sounds like
buttery
fun.
flavor.
Oh, wow. So you get ocean that changes to, like, there's a little chestnut, brown butter. Oh, absolutely fantastic. The sturgeon are being farmed for caviar, but they are also great to eat. Back at the resort, Chef Spencer Watts is about to cook up sturgeon, painted boat style. From your perspective as a chef, like how would you describe it?
It's like dinosaur.
Okay.
But it really is. Like you eat it for the first time, you're like, well, it's kind of like halibut, it's kind of like mahi-mahi, but it's in a class all by itself, I think.
The sturgeon is actually hung and aged almost like what we would consider a land-based protein,
Yeah.
right?
It's the weirdest thing on the face of the earth to get your fish, and then you clean it, and then you let it sit in the fridge for 10 days. We just lightly smoke it. Like it's a cold smoke, like a 10-minute, just like a little whisper. Just over, like,
a little bath
yeah,
of
just
smoke.
like
Okay.
just like a little bath of smoke.
Wonderful.
So you can taste it, but it's not like pork ribs.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's just like a little bit. And then I start in like a very hot pan. And that's like a perfect temperature. I just lay the fish down.
It's a beautiful sound.
I know, man. There's something like romantic about it. And a little bit like that, and then into an oven. I also like to put a little crust on this fish. I'm gonna put like 3 cloves of garlic, and this is a Meyer lemon. It's like orange and a lemon went on a date.
Nice.
I have a few anchovies here. Sometimes even a little bit of oil helps.
Okay.
Have some dill. And then like, I'll put it in,
Done deal.
walk away.
Awesome.
When there's a little bit of liquid in the pan and there's a little bounce to it,
Right.
I think it's perfect. Then this is parsley puree. That's a sweet color, eh?
Totally.
Then I'll just like line the fish up.
This is Alice in Wonderland.
It totally is, but it's all like kind of local and fresh and fun.
Yeah.
Once I get everything on it, this little squash is the last finishing touch. Finished.
Wonderful.
C'est parfait. And if you come to the Painted Boat Resort, that's the dish that we have on the menu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Believe that?
That's beautiful.
Woo!
Yeah. Spencer is clearly enthusiastic about cooking, and the sturgeon was sensationally good. I'm on the way back to Victoria, but I'm just taking a small detour to Bowen Island, which, despite being only a 20-minute ferry ride from Vancouver, has managed to keep a real rural feel. I'm here to meet someone who must have one of the world's best jobs. Joanne Mogridge is a chocolatier.
It certainly is great to come into work every day. I don't always smell the chocolate every day now. I almost have to open a bin or get really close to it to smell it.
It's part of your reality, your existence?
Exactly, yeah. The chocolate behind me is out of temper right now, so that means that it would still taste nice, it would still be liquidy, but it would never firm up. So when you're crystallizing the chocolate, it's all about time, temperature, and movement.
Now, why marble?
The marble is cool, so the marble is going to suck some of the heat out of the chocolate.
Okay.
You can probably feel it. It's getting thicker,
and
if you were to touch it, it's feeling cooler than it was earlier. So I'm going to get you to help me roll some of these here. So I just need you to move the pan and roll the truffles. Once they go in, I'm going to put some chocolate on the surface of them.
Are they ready to eat?
They are ready to eat. We try not to eat too many of them. Obviously, we do eat some. They are now going to head towards the front. They go in the front of the shop and ready for display and for purchase. Our chocolates, because they're made with organic ingredients and organic dairy in particular, they will go bad. So we ask customers to eat them within 10 days of purchase. So we take them out.
I don't think that's too much of a hardship task from your customers.
Are you ready to try one?
Absolutely. Oh, that's divine. And when chocolatiers sit down for a break, they naturally drink chocolate.
We have 6 different hot chocolates. The poblano is a spicy hot chocolate, so it's got a little bit of chili in it, gives it a little bit of a kick, little zing. Oh, there she is. Wow. And she's got our chocolate hat on today as well.
I was going to make a comment about your staff uniform.
Yeah, that's not our regular wear, but that is a chocolate hat that we've made completely out of chocolate, completely edible, and it's got colored red cocoa butter on it. Thanks. So this is the spicy one. It's got a bit of a chili kick to it.
I'm very excited to try it. Oh, Joanne, that's delightful.
Well, Ali, I really am very sorry I wasn't able to make it up to the Sunshine Coast. It looks like you guys had an absolute ball. But today, I am greatly honored to be joined in the studio by Sarah Schmidt, Director of Energy and Renewable Resources for Fortis.
Energy Efficiency and Conservation.
Energy
I know it's a big handle, but...
Now, did it take you a long time to learn that one?
Yes.
Excellent,
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, you should see my business card. I actually have larger business cards.
You got like an iPad-sized business card?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, today we're going to do a West Coast favorite. We're going to do a little twist on an Eggs Benedict.
Exciting.
So poached eggs, bagels. First thing we need to do, we need to get our bagels ready. So we've got a bagel each. Nice whole grain bagels. So we just want to split these open. I've given you a knife there just to finish that cut. And all we're going to do, just really simply, take them and you just want to press them. Just give them a little bit of a press onto the grill plate. And they'll toast off nicely while we're doing other things and chatting and doing our stuff.
Doing our thing.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to get the sauce ready. And this is our Cheaters Hollandaise. And all it is really is a little bit of light cream. So that's about 2 tablespoons of light cream. And we'll just let that come to the boil. And then we just add our cream cheese, melt it, done.
Excellent.
And then we're just going to work with our tomatillos. So I'm going to give you a tomatillo.
That's beautiful.
Tomatillo is a tomato-type vegetable. So it's just remove the papery husk. And it's a little bit more bitter than a tomato, and it's got a little bit more of a solid flesh. So what we're going to do is just take a very, very thin slice off the bottom. Just because, again, the skin is a little bit chewy, and we're not going to eat through that. And then we're going to slice this into, say, 3 or 4 reasonably thick slices, because we're going to grill these as well. And again, that just leaves that little handle, and you can push that over to one side. I'll give you another one. What kind of things have you got going on?
Well, we have renewable natural gas.
Yeah, which we've visited the biomethane plant in Abbotsford.
Very good for our customers. We're doing district energy systems that feature geo-exchange and natural gas both. Right. We're doing natural gas for transportation,
right.
Which is significantly lower emissions than conventional petroleum fuels. And the initiative that I look after, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Program, encourages our customers to conserve natural gas. So
it seems almost ironic that you want your customers to use less gas.
Less of our product.
That's
yes.
right.
Yeah, that's a common question that we get. And the reason that we do it is to ease the demands on our infrastructure.
Right.
So if we have a piece of pipe that has 9 customers attached to it, and we can get those 9 customers to use a little bit less, so we can attach a 10th customer to that piece of pipe without having to put new pipe in, that's a good thing for everybody.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to move on a little bit. We've got our water boiling, so we can poach eggs. I sense a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of reticence, trepidation at poaching the eggs. No panic. So what we've got, when you're poaching eggs, first thing you need, lots of water. You need to have a nice pot full of water for the eggs to work properly. And a little bit of salt. Now, some people prefer to use vinegar. Mm-hmm. Both will work. Both are basically taking the acid in the vinegar or the salt and stiffening up the protein in the egg, which helps to keep them together. Okay. Now what we're going to do here is we're just going to break an egg into each bowl.
Okay.
Just a nice sharp crack on the edge of the bowl. And just pop that right into your bowl. So we'll do the same with the other bowl. This way they can all go in almost at the same time, very quickly.
Very good.
So I've got my cream over here that's just come to the boil and just reduced down a little bit, and then we've got our cream cheese. So about 2/3 of a cup of cream cheese.
And you've got the heat on still.
The heat is on still. I've just turned that right down because now all we want to do is basically the liquid from the cream is just going to allow the cream cheese to...
Is there any risk that it would separate?
Nope, the cream cheese, it will burn if you have the heat too high.
Yeah.
But of course the beauty of the gas is that it's instant adjusting.
The control.
The control,
yeah,
you turn it down, it's gone. You turn it up, it's there. There we go. That's it. So that's down, and we just turn that low to keep that warm. And I'm just going to release these guys, because then we want to do our tomatillos on here.
Okay.
So if we just grab all your tomatillo slices, and then these can just come on over to our grill pan and just drop those into place. So what we need to do is just do a little bit of chiffonade of basil. And in order to do a nice chiffonade, you just sort of layer the two on top of one another.
Okay.
And just roll them up.
Yes.
And then you just take the knife.
Yeah.
Keep the tip of the knife on the cutting board way up here.
I've always wanted to do this.
And just drop the back end, just like a little guillotine. And then once that's all sliced up, we just kind of do one long cut that way, and there we go. So then we can take a little bit of basil here and just drop it into our sauce. The one thing we haven't done is our pink peppercorns.
Oh, wow.
And I like the pink peppercorns, A, for color, and from a point of view that they have a little more of an astringent flavor than the black peppercorns. And if you like black peppercorns, by all means. So what we can do is just put a few of those there. Just take our knife and just give them a little break. So we crack them open and release those essential oils. And then these will go into that cream cheese sauce as well. So we'll just stir those things through. And at this point, I'm going to turn the heat right off. I don't want to cook the herb or the peppercorns.
Very good.
Okay, so now all we have left to do is our eggs. And all we're going to do is just take our dish and just lower it in and let that water flow into the bowl.
Okay.
Give it a second to just see how it coagulates. And then
dump it.
Roll it out. We're going to make you an egg poaching queen in no
excellent,
time.
because I actually love poached eggs.
So that's it. Just let that water just sort of flow over the edge of the dish. Give it a second or two. You'll see it coagulate right away. And again, you notice there's no movement in the water.
Right.
That poaching liquid is just what we want it to be. That's it.
Here it goes.
There we go.
Goodbye, egg. Please
Goodbye.
Come out
Goodbye. So, if you've got any great tips for consumers of natural gas, what would they be in order to sort of help conserve and to lower their gas bills at the end of the day?
Well, you know, there's lots and lots of low and no cost things that people can do around their houses to save energy. So if you've got a dripping tap, for example, a tap that drips hot water at the rate of a drip a second is the equivalent of 14 hot baths a month.
I know, I've heard that before. It adds up very, very quickly,
doesn't it? It sure does.
It?
So fixing leaky taps is probably one of the #1 things people can do.
Right.
Low flow shower heads and aerators. Really important to have your natural gas heating equipment serviced, preferably at the start of the heating season. Installing draft proofing in their homes.
Good tips, good tips. So now we're basically ready to start putting things together.
Okay, so 3 minutes they've been on.
About 3 minutes on there. And I'm just going to lift, and then that was just a little bit, probably a little, because that was the first one in.
Yeah.
And I just have a paper towel there just to get rid of the excess moisture.
Excellent.
That one there. And when they're floating is a good indication that they're ready as well. And then the good part. We're just going to spoon that over each egg. just like so. I like a little paprika on there for contrast. And there we have it. There's our,
Wow.
West Coast tomatillo bagels.
That's good.
Sarah, thank you very much
Yeah,
for
my
coming
pleasure.
in.
It's been a hoot.
It's been fun working with you, and I want you to go home and poach some eggs.
Absolutely.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And those are some of the flavors of the Sunshine Coast. If you want to be really cool, check out all the great local recipes from Season 1 and 2 of Flavours, available now at a bookstore near you.
Here at Vis-a-Vis Wine and Charcuterie Bar, as part of our large bottle format, we offer the Driftwood Ale. We have chosen to pair this with the Sunshine Breakfast as we feel that it is a nice medium-bodied beer that has a lot of good toasty, malty notes to it, therefore balancing out quite nicely with the bagel itself. And we also get a really great kind of herbal component in the back palate, which we feel will really enhance the basil coming through on the cream cheese. So at Vis-a-Vis Wine and Charcuterie Bar, we offer the Driftwood Ale as part of our 5-mile beer diet.
Well, Rod, what are we going to do with our Sunshine Breakfast?
Well, I thought this time, instead of tasting a variety of wines or beers that would go with it, I thought we might make a couple classics. So the first one I'm going to do is our little local take on the Kir Royale. Now,
Okay.
Kir Royale typically takes a champagne
Yeah.
and adds a little bit of Chambord or framboise in the bottom of it. In this case, I'm going to use the Blackberry port from Rocky Creek. I use the Emotivo Prosecco because it's a very easygoing Prosecco. It's nice and light. It's got a very good cremeux or a little mousse on it. I just love saying that word, cremeux.
Cremeux.
Yeah.
Cremeux. And that's the mousse. That's the mouthfeel?
That's the mouthfeel, and that's what the bubbles will generate on your palate.
Right.
So this has such a delicate and really creamy mouthfeel. I thought with the Blackberry port and the dish, it would just go spectacularly well.
I hear you.
So
I hear you.
I'm going to pour a little bit of that in there. I find this works really well. If you're just going to have a nice light dinner when it's hot out or something like that, this is another beautiful one.
It's definitely a cheers drink, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Feels good, tastes good, it tastes like morning. It's sunshine in a glass.
Sunshine in a glass. I love it. I love it.
So the next one we're going to do is a classic mimosa.
Right.
Now, classic mimosas are sparkling wine and orange juice. I prefer to use a fresh squeezed orange juice, but you can use Tropicana, Minute Maid, whatever you like. And literally you just add a little bit of orange juice, a little bit of sparkling wine, and you have yourself a dance party on your tongue.
Cheers, Rod. It's a classic for a reason.
It is.
Because it's just so damn delicious.
It feels good. It just feels good.
It's awesome. Rod, thanks again.
Thank you.
Flavours of the West Coast is made possible by the generous contributions of the Victoria Pub Company, Country Grocer, and Fortis BC.